Mother and father took away all sense of online privacy and time, so I did to her too. Ashley told me while I was feeding the baby applesauce. She'd been sleeping with her ex when we first got together and the baby wasn't mine. 14 months of diapers and doctor visits and he wasn't even mine. I packed my car that night and moved back to my parents' place because I couldn't afford the apartment alone. My mom started her routine immediately. What time did I get home? Who was texting? Why was my laptop open? At 23 I thought she'd treat me like an adult, but she said her house, her rules. When I was 16 she installed monitoring software on everything I owned. She read every text I sent, every email. She'd print messages she didn't like and leave them on my pillow with notes in red marker. Once I told a friend our teacher gave too much homework and she grounded me for talking bad about adults. The internet shut off at 7:00 p.m. every night. She had the router on a timer. If I needed it for homework, I had to beg and she'd stand behind me watching. Sunday mornings, she went through my browser history with her coffee. Now at 23, she was checking my phone again. Ashley kept texting and my mom would see them first. She'd walk in holding my phone asking why that girl was contacting me. I told her to stop and she said under her roof she had every right. I worked doubles at a warehouse for 8 months, saved enough for a studio across town. My mom cried when I left and said I was abandoning them. I told her I needed my own space. She started calling about tech problems. Her phone wasn't working right, her laptop was slow. I'd drive over and fix whatever she'd messed up. Every visit she'd ask when I was coming back like I'd moved across the country. Then my dad called. His hours got cut and they were behind on bills. Mom's car repair was $2,000 they didn't have. They were selling the house but needed time. Could Mom stay with me for a few months? I said yes but told her there were conditions. She laughed. I wasn't joking. All her devices needed monitoring software installed. She said that was insane. I said take it or find somewhere else. She needed a place. She agreed. I installed everything exactly like she'd done to me. I could see every text and email. Internet shut off at 7:00 p.m. that first night. She came out frustrated, asking why the Wi-Fi wasn't working. I said it shut off at 7:00, house rules. She said she was an adult. I said so was I at 17. Next morning I read her text over breakfast. Her friend sent something about a church bake sale. I printed it and left it on her bed with a note saying I didn't want solicitation messages. She found it and just stared. She tried emailing her sister complaining about my rules. I blocked it, told her the tone was disrespectful. She said I had no right. I said my house, my rules, her exact words from years ago. 3 days in she tried paying a bill online at night. Internet was off. She got a $30 late fee. She came to me furious. I said she should have better time management. The same thing she told me in high school. Her coworker texted about switching a shift and I'd filtered unknown numbers. She missed the message, lost a day of work and that day's pay. She was livid, saying I was sabotaging her. I asked if that's how it felt, like someone was controlling everything and she couldn't be trusted. She went quiet. I showed her my old phone, screenshots of her printed texts with red marker, browser history, spreadsheets, blocked emails. I kept everything because it felt so wrong and I needed proof. She said it was different because I was a kid. I asked why at 17 I needed that control, but at 51 she didn't. She was in my space using my internet. Why were the rules different? She had no answer. She called my dad to pick her up that night. I helped with her suitcase. She wouldn't look at me. My dad looked disappointed but stayed quiet. 2 days later she called from her sister's place. Said being monitored made her anxious and angry. That she finally understood why I left at 17 and barely spoke to her after. Story 2. My wife of 3 years is snapping a male coworker and keeping it from me. Hosted by you throwaway 746,272,727. Can't be sure my wife's being honest about her male coworker. I 33M, I'm an attorney, and my wife 27F is a group fitness instructor at a sort of posh gym. We've been together for 7 years, married for 3, and I've never once questioned her about men or trust. She followed me all through college and law school, and we, until last night, have the relationship everyone seems to want. She and I have always been head over heels in love. Our honeymoon phase never really ended. But something happened last night that threw me for a loop, and I can't tell if I'm in my head or if something else is going on. There's a fellow trainer she works with. He's a decent-looking guy. Perhaps you could say he is a knockoff Liam Hemsworth. I always had a somewhat weird feeling, but because I always trusted her, it was always fleeting. Here are the facts. Last night, she left her phone on the couch to go get water. I was still seated. I saw it light up with a Snapchat notification. I had no idea she had downloaded it. It was from the coworker. It was just an emoji of a monkey covering his eyes. It disappeared. I said, I didn't know you Snapchat. She responded that she snaps all of her coworkers. Line number 1, my gut tells me something, so I asked to see it. She reluctantly hands it over and I see in her snap history that she snaps him, her sister, and then the next names were all snaps from like 75 weeks ago. My red flags go off and I start asking questions very calmly, I may add. She responds to everything with, I don't know. I ask what he is responding to. She says, I don't know. I say, how often do you snap him? She says, I don't know. You said you Snapchat your other coworkers, yet they aren't here. What is going on? I don't know. She is purposely being evasive. Lies, lies, lies. How do you not know these answers? After more prodding, she says he hit on her a month ago and that she shut it down and didn't tell me because she loves her job and didn't want to jeopardize it. None of these explanations satisfy me. I'm not a fool. I mean, even if we take everything she says as true, the way I see it is that she is continuing to snap a guy who once hit on her on a medium designed to disappear your communications. I left the house and she called me crying and said she was scared and that nothing happened and she should have told me and that she deleted Snapchat. She said she loved me with all her heart, that I'm her puzzle piece and that she would do absolutely anything and everything to make this better, that she is lost without our love, etc., etc. I can't get over this. Please offer help and advice. I never thought I would experience this. Thanks. Comments with Ops response. Commenter. That text exchange between them was a lie. Dude, you said that you looked and the only 3 snaps were with him, her sister, and the rest were 75 weeks ago. So then how was he responding to something she snapped to her whole class? And if they went through the trouble of making that crap up, it's because the truth is a whole lot worse. You got yourself a cheater, buddy. Ops response context. The claim is that the emoji is a response to a story she posted that everyone can see. That story was her posting a video of making the class do 50 burpees. She claims she's active on Snapchat stories regarding her workout classes. This is a question for anybody. I'm not really sure how Snapchat works, but if he responded to her story, then he would be at the top of her list, right? Like I said, the history showed him her sister a friend. Then it was snaps from weeks and weeks ago. This is not denial. This is me giving you the audience all information. I'm still not okay with what is happening with her. Commenter 2, that still doesn't explain why she wouldn't answer anything, but I don't know to every question you asked her. If it was from just her workout story, why did she feel the need to hide it? If it was that innocent, I think she would have told you what it was about right away. And to be honest, their convo sounds scripted AF to me. Ops response. I wish I could disagree with you, but I can't. Commenter 3, the most troubling thing here is your wife's response. I don't know to every question is unacceptable and suggests guilt. You should talk to her and ask her why she kept responding with that instead of just answering you honestly. It sounds like she's engaged in a little snap flirting with someone she knows is into her, which may or may not be the end of the world. You have to decide if you consider that cheating or if it's a small indiscretion that you can talk through and move on from. Ops response. Yay, that's my crossroads. For me, it's the experience of the lack of trust. That's not concrete infidelity, but if I can't trust you, then it's pretty over for me. Period. Op adds an edit to his post. Update 1. We've been talking and I've illustrated some new boundaries. Even though I won't babysit her, she volunteered access to all of her accounts and social media, etc. I highly doubt I'll look, and I know that if she really was engaging in something, she could have deleted stuff, but it's a start. Second, she reached out to him and I saw a text exchange with him again. I realized this all could have been orchestrated, but here's how it went down. Why'd you send the monkey? I was replying to your story making the class do 50 burpees. My husband saw it and started asking questions. He's upset. Tell him I'm sorry. I won't snap you anymore. I've always liked him. I think you shouldn't talk to me on social media anymore. I agree. I apologize if I caused any problems. Who knows if I can trust this or not. Additional info from Op. I cannot tell you all how much I appreciate your responses. Thank you. There was an update that I put at the bottom of the original post and I would love to get people's thoughts on it. I'm leaning towards a trust but verify approach right now. This girl really does love me, and if you see my responses to people's questions, you'll see that aside from this, we have a very affectionate and strong relationship. My trust is shaken and I'm not dumb. I'm going to proceed with sharp eyes and extra caution. Divorce is not easy for legal and emotional reasons, and I'm just not ready to go there over this, especially at this point. Commenter 4. This trust but verify idea is just another way of saying don't trust. Having full access to your partner's social media is a level of surveillance and control typically only found in abusive relationships. I think there's clearly some stuff going on between you two which you need to talk about, but I would consider this move far worse than flirting with a coworker. You need to find a way to rebuild trust instead of making trust unnecessary. Otherwise, you won't have a relationship with your wife, just a woman in a box. Commenter 5. She should be able to pull up the story he was responding to. That doesn't help a whole lot, but it helps a bit. But she already deleted the app. Not going to lie, the good thing about Snapchat is that to my knowledge, it always keeps how long you've been messaging someone. What I mean is, hypothetically, not to get you scared, if this was me and I wanted to keep talking to this person, I could easily just IM message or use any data-oriented app, not regular text, since you can find that on a phone bill and simply delete the messages. That's probably safer than Snapchat. Snapchat shows how often they talk based on the numbers and emojis next to their name. So even if you don't see what they are writing, which you wouldn't see if she deletes them on a regular messaging app, you still see how long and roughly how much they talk, at least in relation to other people on her Snap. Op's response. I saw what she claims was the story. It was a video of her making the class do a bunch of burpees. It was also recorded and posted like an hour before his emoji, but I'm still not 100% convinced. She deleted the app, so I'm not sure what can be done unless she redownloads it and it keeps that information. Where does it show how often people snap? If what you say is true and redownloading it keeps that info, then this could all be resolved quite easily. Op adds a second edit to his post. Update 2. Tonight I'm going to have her put her money where her mouth is. I have complete access to your stuff. Okay, I'm going to ask her to redownload Snapchat. People keep telling me there are lots of emoji types that show up if you frequently snap someone. I'll open the app and see if any of these appear by his name. Hopefully that'll resolve some of this crap. If there are fire or heart emojis or whatever, then divorce is probably the answer, or counseling, whatever. If there are no emojis, I can definitely move forward or at least start too. Op adds a third edit to his post. Update 3. She came home last night and I asked her to redownload Snapchat and show me his name. She did, and there were no emojis by his name, but there were emojis by her sister's name. This means she and the coworker don't snap frequently. This issue is not fixed, but that is the update right now. Update 4 days later. First off, thanks to those that gave thoughtful responses and thanks to those who educated me about Snapchat and getting the data exported. I exported the data and it checks out with her story. She and him had barely had contact. Also, I had her redownload 20 hours after his original snap the app and there were no emojis by his name. I also checked the phone records and she has never called him. We have talked extensively and I'm pretty convinced she felt like something looked bad and sort of shut down when I started asking questions, getting nervous. Hence the parade of I don't knows. Her cheating just didn't add up. She was always affectionate and loving. Plus, and this might be TMI, she had hairy as F legs. People, when they are cheating or sleeping with someone new, tend to exhibit behavior like grooming or making themselves up more than they used to. I seriously doubt she would be sleeping with someone new yet not shave her legs for like a while. We are both so busy recently. We have just been go, 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 go. She works 2 jobs and I started work as an attorney just a couple months ago. It's been hard and we've been romantic, but sex has been less than normal. We are going on a romantic date this weekend to respice things up. Also, to those being jerks about me being an attorney, I'm a corporate lawyer. I don't make a living cross-examining people. Still, I think I handled things quite logically. The main advice I do wish I took from commenters is that I should have not acted immediately when I saw the snap. It would have been more beneficial, especially if there was cheating, for me to watch and wait and not let her know I noticed something. Sometimes emotions get the better of judgment. Again, thank you to those that gave thoughtful and helpful comments about how to proceed. I'm grateful it was much ado about nothing. Obviously, she should have told me the guy hit on her in the past, but we are working past that. I think if she hadn't shut down and been elusive with I don't knows, this would have been resolved pretty easily. It's not like I became angry or super interrogative. I asked some questions and her elusiveness caused things to accelerate. It was a spark that kindled a fire of suspicion. Thanks everyone who is measured in their responses to posts in this community. Comments with Ops response commenter. Jesus Christ, her story was entirely plausible and you went right off the deep end because you're so insecure about yourself. If my partner immediately accused me of cheating or went off the deep end demanding answers if one of my male coworkers messaged me outside of normal hours, we'd have a massive argument about boundaries and control. Why did you even open the message? That's psycho-controlling territory. I would never open my partner's snaps. I might call out and tell him his phone buzzed or have a quick glance at the screen to see if it's his mom, but otherwise it's his correspondence. No wonder she didn't want to answer your questions. You say you're in the honeymoon period still, but that means you should still trust her, right? You still don't sound convinced that your wife is trustworthy, and that speaks more about you than about her. Edit to clarify: the most frustrating thing about your previous post was the endless supply of comments, and none of them spoke up for your marriage or your wife. Ops downvoted response. We've been together for 7 years. We don't just hide crap. Being open books with one another is why my trust was so shaken in the moment. We just don't hide stuff. That's why the very fact she redownloaded the app and was messaging him raised questions. Her failure in the ability to answer them made suspicions greater. That's how things escalated. The whole reason for this was that in 7 years I've never once suspected anything ever. This was the first time, and considering I never yelled or lost control, it says magnitudes. I'm not the psycho-controlling jealous type. The fact that she was offering to do anything to alleviate the issue I think speaks volumes for the relationship. Don't be so quick to judge. Commenter 2. I was hoping this update made you realize you need therapy. Ops downvoted response. You weren't there. A simple basic question turned into something because she got weird and shut down. I don't think I'm in the wrong or dangerously insecure because she couldn't answer why she uses Snapchat to talk to a personal trainer who has hit on her in the past. Op adds an edit to his post. Jesus, you guys keep calling either my wife a liar or me a psychopath. I came to Reddit for clarity. Big mistake. Maybe 5% of the responses actually responded to and read the actual post. Most probably read parts of it and injected their own stories. I became some weird controlling brute. We are not teens dating. When you're married and it's for life, certain things change. For one, privacy is still respected, but you don't get a complete free pass on every single thing. You want your spouse to feel comfortable. If she wants to see my social media or has questions, she can ask and I'll answer them. You take vows, and if you mean them, you devote yourself to making the other spouse comfortable. Like I said in the original, this guy had always given me a weird feeling, but it was fleeting. Now I realize it is probably because my gut knew he was hitting on my wife, so it was right. Second, if you actually read, you'd see that I have never once in 7 years questioned my wife about men or asked to see her stuff. So I get a red flag feeling based on Snapchat, and I ask some questions and boom, I'm a psycho with raging trust issues. Your wife needs to leave you. You're emotionally and verbally abusive. Jesus, Reddit. Yes, I verified, but Jesus, not only did she offer to show me her stuff, but the previous thread was all comments about how the monkey emoji means something more and that she's cheating, blah blah blah. Of course, I'm going to check to be sure. Marriage is serious. You can't just break up. There are so many things that go into leaving a marriage. You have legal, emotional, and social consequences, and it's much harder and more serious than just breaking off a relationship. I verified and my wife and I are good now. We are glad we went through this conundrum because it reinforced how much we love one another because she thought she was going to lose me, and I her even if it was only for a period of hours. I am glad I was wrong, but I am also glad I verified I was wrong. Scaling story segment. I honestly would have been pretty sketched out myself if I was in Ops's shoes. You never knew your significant other was using Snapchat at all. You get a brief moment's notification that she's getting snaps from her male coworker with that monkey hiding his face emoji. And when you confront her, she shuts down and can't answer any of your questions. Then after that fact, he learned that said male coworker also hit on her previously. So his insecurity, or in other words, suspicions, was through the freaking roof. I do think his wife's conversation with said coworker in his first edit should have alleviated a lot of doubts, because if there was a hidden affair going on, the coworker wouldn't have responded straightforward like that and would have been more flirtatious unless they were playing 4D chess. Op gets eviscerated by the comments and downvoted in his update post because of how untrusting he was of his wife. But also, it's funny because he was getting a lot of opinions that his wife was most definitely cheating in the original post and that the relationship was cooked. All in all, classic Reddit experience. LOL.